In conclusion to Miss Roxanne Gay boss article, we're talking about not only how the way that she designed this piece so eloquently, splitting it in half, also using her expository and narrative piece in the first half, because I'm sure none of you guys really want to read it very well, so I'm going to break it down for you. In our first half, we have this piece in which she's talking about society, media. She's talking about how feminism is defined and how it shouldn't be defined, and who's enforcing this. We have women who say the right way to be a woman is to wear makeup, to wear the right kind of clothes, or stay at home and raise children, and that if they don't do that, they're not good feminists or they're not feminists at all. That woman can't have it all. And then she continues to criticize these pieces and this misinformation. But then in the second half, she's talking about herself and she criticizes her own self, saying, I'm failing as a woman, I'm failing as a feminist, and I accept that the feminist label would not be fair, or accepting it would not be fair to good feminists. That she, just like us, feels unable to accept this title because she feels like she's not doing it justice. Not only is her design catching the reader's attention, but so does her language. She's trying to connect with us, her audience, and if you see in her, not only just the article, but in the TEDx talk that I put in my little blog post right there, title under final portfolio, you can see that she continues to talk about this hypocrisy that she herself has. That she's saying, I very much like men, uh, that she loves pink, and that she's very feminine in a way that some feminists would be like, no, you're becoming the stereotype or stereotypical woman. But all she wants is to be treated better, just like everyone wants to be treated with respect. And her own personal testimony, she's starting to connect this in a different way, more like when women are called feminists in a negative connotation, where she has the instance with her boyfriend who's like, you're some kind of feminist, aren't you? And obviously some women are called that, and some of them try to hide away or shy away from the fact that they just called me a negative or a feminist in a negative way, when in fact Gay accepts it, even if she thinks she is bad. She's like, I must be one then. And then in addition to assuming, in addition to assuming a defensive position, she starts to talk about a white feminist or foreigner, how she believes colored writers don't make themselves known, um, that it's up to them to assume the responsibility that they need to include their diversity in their press, and that Warner didn't accept this responsibility, and Gay argued that that's being on by a lack of being a true feminist, and that there's conflict in feminist or in feminism, and by discrediting the idea that feminism is segregated, or that we have different problems as women of color than white women. She makes herself have a stronger argument because in the end it's about solidarity and standing united, and not putting other women down, or not even just women, anyone who accepts the feminist label. um, and then she continues to discredit others in this article. If you want to read my paper, I'll include it at the very end. And she also has the credibility because she's just using her own life as a personal example, something we can relate to. She's not knocking everyone down, but all the time, but she's trying to build up on credibility in a way that we we can easily um, in a way we can easily get or understand. Obviously, she doesn't have a fancy title or anything, but she is out there. She's very good with language, and that's part of the reason why she uses I a lot. She's owning up to her uh, discrediting others and her statements. And in conclusion, because of her misattributions or because of the misattributions and mistaken ideals from media, feminism is suffering. And Roxanne Gay is provoking us as people, not just women, to take on the title of a feminist by defining our own personal ideas and values. Um, Discerning all ideas of other, she makes herself appear stronger by never letting up on her stance and by challenging us into believing that a bad feminist is better than no feminist at all. So thank you for listening.